It's time for This Week with the Huskies, a look inside Bloomsburg University athletics, a production of the Bloomsburg University Sports Information Office.
This past week, two alums of the Bloomsburg University football program put on impressive displays at the NFL Combine in Indianapolis in the hopes of furthering their dreams of playing professionally. Defensive end Larry Webster recorded the second fastest 40-yard dash time of any defensive lineman at the Combine with a time of 4.58, behind only projected top 10 overall pick Jadeveon Clowney of South Carolina. Webster attracted the attention of scouts all year after recording double-digit sack totals in each of his 2 years on the gridiron for the Huskies after a standout basketball career. Webster was also tied for fourth in the broad jump and fifth in the vertical jump among all defensive line prospects. Also invited to the Combine was offensive tackle Matt Feiler. Fowler made a strong showing for himself as well, finishing second in the bench press with 36 repetitions. A multi-time All-PSAC East selection for the Huskies, an Associated Press All-American this year, Fowler returned to campus this week and sat down to talk about his hopes for playing at the next level.
Talking with Matt Feiler. Matt just getting back from the NFL Combine last week. Matt, talk to us about the experience of being at something with some very talented players and the whole process that goes with that NFL Combine.
It was a little hard to wrap my head around at first, just seeing all the big-name college players there. Definitely kind of made me a little starstruck at first, I guess. But after a little bit, I kind of got to talk with a lot of the guys and kind of calm my nerves down a little bit. But yeah, we started off first day, right off the plane, headed to the hospital, did injury interviews and stuff like that. Just want to know your past medical information. And then they had you do x-rays and if you needed them, MRIs. So that was pretty much the first day. And then you had interviews at night. And then the second day you wake up. We had a drug test at 4 o'clock in the morning. So then we went from there to doing team medical checkups then. And you pretty much went from room to room. I think there was 4 teams per room. And they just went through all your stuff you talked about the previous day and had their team doctors come up to you and just move you around and poke you and all that kind of stuff. So it was an interesting day. And then you finished the day off with more interviews. The next day we got to wake up at 6, so we got to sleep in a little bit. Had the weigh-ins and later on the bench, and then the next day was all the on-field stuff.
So all of the things that people hear about the poking and prodding and all of that—that's all true.
Oh yeah. That's it gets a little uncomfortable at first, but I mean, by the end of it, I guess you get used to it. So.
How about the questions? You always hear that they've asked you some bizarre questions. Anything stand out in your mind of being, why would they want to know that?
I had an interview with the Browns, and they recorded it on their iPads. And the very last question of it, I had no idea what it had to do with football. But the one question was, in 1 minute, name off the top of your head, name as many things as you can think of for use of a paperclip. And I kind of I looked at him funny. He's like, yeah, just do it. Like, whatever comes off the top of your head, just say it. So I probably said about 4 or 5 things, and then I just drew a blank. And just the rest of the interview, I just kind of like looked at him. I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm saying.
Wow, that is unusual. No, I don't think I've ever heard of that one. Now, you also played in the Shrine game down in Florida. You were with Larry Webster down there. Tell us about that experience and what was that like being with all guys from around the country, different divisions.
It was a good experience. It definitely helped get my name out there further. And the first day was kind of slow start for everybody, I'd say. Just getting used to the offense and defense and just trying to find the tempo everybody was trying to practice at. But as the week went on, I felt like I had a pretty good week of practice. I progressed pretty well, and come game time, everybody was just out there to have fun. It wasn't really competition.
And just wrapping up here, coming to Bloomsburg a couple years ago, any of this ever come into your mind that wow, I'm going to have a chance to play in the NFL?
Not really. Not until the end of my junior year. Coach McBrien kind of mentioned something about just keep working hard and playing like you've been playing, and you're starting to turn some heads out there. So I kind of took that to heart, and it made me want to work that extra step.
Well, we want to wish you the best of luck. We're going to be watching in early May the NFL draft, and hopefully you're going to get your name called on one of those days, and best of luck to you in the future.
All right, thank you.
The Bloomsburg University men's basketball team scored its first postseason win since 2002, defeating Kutztown 82-71 in the first round of the PSAC tournament this past Saturday. The win moved the Huskies to 16-11 on the season. Senior Lorenzo Christmas poured in a game-high 22 points, while fellow senior Dante Jordan posted his ninth double-double of the year with 21 points and 12 rebounds. The win avenged 2 regular season losses to Kutztown. The Huskies now move on to the conference quarterfinals, where they will play at Westchester tonight at 7:30 p.m. Bloomsburg split its season series with Westchester, including a road win 77-76 on January 18th. Head coach John Sano talks about the keys to the Kutztown win and looks ahead to Tuesday night's game.
Well, I thought, our game plan going in was to really get after them defensively, and I thought we did that in the first half. But the key for us in the first 2 games against Kutztown, we weren't able to come out in the second half and kind of play the same way defensively. And I thought tonight we did a better job in the second half of putting 2 halves together on the defensive end, and that was big for us.
A couple of your seniors really stepping up tonight. You look at Dante, 21 and 12 rebounds, and Lorenzo as well, 22 points. Talk a little bit about their performances.
Well, exactly. I thought they stepped up tonight in a big game, big moments. 2 senior leading scorers just really had big games for us, and that's what we needed from them. And they were able to get the job done tonight, and just really lead our team out on the floor, and it was good to see.
Big difference was on the boards. You rebounded them 47-31. Talk about how you guys did on the boards tonight.
Well, I thought that was a big key to our defense. We had to rebound well, but I also thought we went to the offensive glass pretty well. Dante, especially in the first half, we controlled the backboard, and we got back to us, having big numbers rebounding the basketball compared to the other team. So that was big for our defense, and I thought it was big overall for the game.
What changed tonight, losing both games in the regular season to Kutztown and coming back and being able to knock them off tonight?
I felt like our guys were confident that we could come out on our home floor and play well. And we felt like if we could play well, play hard, and I think the last couple times that we did play them, in the second half particularly, we didn't play very hard. And to their credit, they took advantage of that and beat us. But I thought tonight, the second half, was going to be the key for us. Could we come out and give the effort, give the energy that we needed to beat them?
And now looking forward, you move on to the second round at Westchester, split the season series with them. What do you expect to see on Tuesday night?
Well, it's going to be a very good basketball game. Two good teams going at it, battling. This time of year, playoff atmosphere. They're going to give a great effort. We're going to give a great effort. And, the team that's going to make some plays down the stretch is the team that's going to come out on top.
The Huskies women's lacrosse team opened its 2014 season this weekend, dropping a 14-7 decision at top-ranked and defending national champion LIU Post this past Saturday. The Huskies bring high hopes into the new year, with many new faces bringing 11 freshmen into the fold after reaching the second round of the PSAC playoffs a year ago. In anticipation of the Huskies' home opener this Saturday, March 8th versus Mercy College, we talked with Tri-Captains Ashley and Aubrey Bossert and Julie Falk about how the new-look Huskies are coming together. A lot of new faces this year with 11 freshmen on the team. How do you feel like the team has been gelling with so many new players here in preseason?
Yeah, definitely. We came in the fall really not sure what was going to happen. People asked us, how's it going to look? How's everything going to be? We said we're a young team. We don't know what to expect. Mal's pretty much a great coach, but she comes back with the similar thing. So we're, as upperclassmen, we understand what to come with, and we understand what she's looking for. So that was one thing, was just getting the freshmen involved and getting them meshing with us. But so far, everything's doing really well. All 11 of them have really turned into great college athletes so far, and it's been great so far. We do lots of things on and off the field. We always make sure to do team dinners here and there just to make sure that everyone feels involved and we all are part of one unit and one team.
And for the three of you,
mean, taking over a leadership role on such a young team, what has that been like so far?
I think it's gone over pretty well so far. When there are so many freshmen, they kind of look up to you to show them what to do. So I think we've been working hard to kind of let them understand like what we do on a daily basis, and everyone's been pretty much on board with everything we've done. So it's been working out pretty well.
I think also, just so to speak for the three of us, we had great leaders all years that we were here. They were here a year before me, but we had tremendous leaders that kind of built and formed where we should go, and so we kind of had an idea of where the leadership had to go and what was needed from us. So we were used to it.
Definitely what we've seen done in the past, we were able to kind of take that and move forward with it.
We'll break down kind of the different parts of the team right now. Look first at the attack, and what do you feel like your strengths on the attack will be?
Well, I think that we have a lot of returners that are definitely still strong. Julie, our number one scorer, and a few other girls. And then we also have a lot of strong attack newcomer freshmen who have been really meshing well for us. And even across from the fall to now, everyone's shown a lot of improvement and meshing well together and being a good, positive group together.
We just have a huge group that is capable and able to do so much on the attack end, and no one's afraid to do anything, which is great. We have so many different threats and so many different options to do on attack, which I think is going to be very successful for us. So I'm looking forward to it. I think the attack has been looking good so far this fall and even this spring. It keeps improving each day as we go on.
Defensively, kind of look at defense. I know obviously a new goalkeeper in the cage, but what do you feel the strengths are as a defense?
As a defensive unit, we have definitely developed a lot since we started preseason. We have a few returning defenders as well as a lot of incoming freshmen who will play big roles on defense, including our goalie, she's a young goalie, but she's done really well, developed a lot, and I think that she'll take the pressure really well and be successful for us. And I think that we're doing well on defense. Our slides are there, and our communication's improving. So overall, I think we're strong on defense, and we'll be able to stop some teams. So.
And you look at the start of the season, I mean, you have a really tough schedule. You start out with LIU Post, which is the defending national champion, and then you go from there with several nationally ranked teams. Are you looking forward to that, number one? And secondly, do you think like that's going to make you a better team down the road by learning where you're at right away?
Absolutely. I mean, I know for me, I look at it in the beginning in the fall, and you're like, oh man, we have CW Post first game, and then now that we're closer, it's like, yes, like we can play with anyone, really. It's just a matter of what you bring that game day and how competitive you get with the other team, you know. This will make us such a better team and get our name out there, and I think it's the best thing about playing at a Division II level. It's just that competition of such higher schools, and I think it'll just improve us so much for the future.
Yeah. And I think also, I don't really think anyone knows what to expect from us because we have so many new freshmen. And I think just going into any game, whether it's, you know, the defending national champion or anyone, I think just showing our full potential every game as we progress. I think that we'll be able to show like our strengths as well as our weaknesses. But I think playing these teams will give us a good gauge for where we are to start the season. Yeah. And I agree with that as well. I mean, it's important to us to play harder teams. I mean, if you play someone you're going to beat, then you're not going to help yourself as a team. So having a harder schedule will help us when we start to play the PSAC games and will hopefully lead us forward into a successful season.
The women's lacrosse team opens its home schedule on Saturday versus Mercy College at 1 p.m. inside Sports Stadium. The Huskies women's basketball team begins its run for a PSAC championship tonight, Tuesday, March 4th at Nelson Fieldhouse by hosting a quarterfinal game versus East Stroudsburg at 7 o'clock. The defending PSAC champion Huskies are ranked 14th in the country with the fourth longest winning streak in the nation at 16 straight wins and 23-3 overall. Head coach Bill Cleary joins us to talk about tonight's game. The Huskies begin their run in the PSAC tournament tonight versus East Stroudsburg, 7 o'clock at Nelson Fieldhouse, here with head coach Bill Cleary. And, Coach, talk about, obviously, now that we're in the month of March, things are a little bit different. There's a different feel in the air here that we've turned the calendar over to March, isn't there?
Absolutely. You always love the month of March. There's always something crazy that happens. But, it seems like the air smells better, extra step in the player's bounce, stuff like that. But honestly, but the other part that makes it special is because memories are made in March. And we're looking to make another one this weekend.
East Stroudsburg moving on with their victory this past Saturday at Millersville, 49-48, and that's kind of their game. They're a very strong defensive team, and they want to play a game that's in the 40s and 50s.
They really do. They do. They're one of the better defensive teams, I think, not just in our conference, but in our region. And what they do is they play a very physical type style. They're going to really try and beat you up, especially in the post. They do a great job of denying the wings. So we've got to, there's some things that we've taken watching both our first and second games that I think we didn't do a really good job of, that we have a good idea of what we want to do tonight, and hopefully we'll be able to execute that. But they're a very strong defensive team.
I know that you and the rest of the team hope that this is the first of 3 games this week, as we would have the Final Four over the weekend should you be able to move on from Tuesday night. And, of course, last year, you know what that's like, making a deep run in the conference tournament, being the conference champions a year ago. This year's team, very different than last year's, but can you take anything from last year's experience and use it this season?
Well, I think one of the things that they've done from last year is they've actually applied it to every game we've played so far this year. Well, I particularly after our Shippensburg game back on December 7th, which is we just take each game as they come. We worry about, we've kind of broken it down where it's like, okay, we're not going to worry about the outcome of the game. We're going to worry about we broke the game up into 4-minute intervals with the media timeouts. And then we broke it even smaller than that, worrying about just each possession. And as long as we're just worried about the position, we're worried about the next play and not worrying about the end result, we'll be fine. And I think that's one of the things that we talked about and we really stressed upon our players last year during the tournament run, that we kind of really been hitting home all year. And I'll tell you, this group has really done a really nice job of taking the ball and running with that, because I was just talking to a friend of mine and we were talking about how they don't get riled, no matter what the score is, whether we're up, whether we're down, particularly when we're down. They don't get riled. When we need a 3, they hit a 3. When we need to stop, we got to stop. So I think it's because they're just concerned about that moment and not about the end, but not concerned with the end result.
Obviously, being the number 1 seed from the Eastern Division, winning the East outright for the 4th straight season, you had the benefit of having that first round bye, the chance to go down and watch East Stroudsburg on Saturday, of course. What are the benefits? How big of a benefit is it to have a couple of days off at this stage of the season?
Everyone says, "Oh, what about momentum? Don't you want to play to keep that momentum?" I think at this stage of the season, anytime you can get your players extra rest, I think that benefits you more. The ability of someone not getting hurt, and given a well-deserved rest. These kids have worked extremely hard all season long. So, we practiced on Sunday, and that was kind of, you could tell they had off on Saturday, but we still were able to get better, and we had a really good practice yesterday. So, I'm really confident going into the game. And again, going back to Thursday and Friday last week, probably 2 of our better practices of the year. So we get in, we tweak some things, we work on some things, we look at something. Do we want to try something this way, try something that way, and then we go from there. But I think having that bye is very important at this stage of the season.
And you also get the benefit of home court advantage playing on your home court here at Nelson Fieldhouse tonight. I know we've talked about in the past the importance of having that home court advantage from the big crowd and how much you fed off that a year ago in the Final Four.
I think, again, you want to talk about one of the reasons why we won the conference championship last year was because we were here at the Nelson Fieldhouse. The atmosphere was electric. I remember last year just getting excited. You could tell every time we hit a big shot because the fans just erupted. And I'll tell you what, it's so important at this stage. at this time of year to have that sixth man, and they really carried us last year to our conference championship. We're hoping them to carry us tonight against East Stroudsburg, and hopefully if we're fortunate enough to win tonight and win a couple games, out in Erie, who knows? Keep our fingers crossed. Maybe we'll have the good fortune of hosting the NCAA regional here and having that sixth man carrying us again, hopefully to a regional championship.
Tuesday night's game is Maroon Madness at Nelson Fieldhouse. Cheer on the Huskies in their defense of the PSAC championship by wearing your maroon to the game. The first 150 students in attendance will also receive a free maroon Huskies t-shirt. That's the Huskies taking on East Stroudsburg in the PSAC tournament at 7 o'clock tonight in Nelson Fieldhouse. It's a very busy time of year for the Huskies with 10 sports currently in season. The Bloomsburg University baseball team moved its record to 6-3 on the year by taking 2 of 3 games at Barton College in Wilson, North Carolina over the weekend. Sophomore first baseman Joey Castleberry leads the team on the young season by batting .400 with 12 RBIs. Sophomore pitcher Matt Jazzkolka recorded his second win of the year with a complete game victory at Barton and now is 2-0 with a 1.38 ERA. Next up is a trip to Greenville, Tennessee to play 3 games at Tusculum College this Saturday and Sunday. The Huskies softball team opened its season by sweeping a doubleheader at Shepherd this past Saturday, winning Game 1 9-5 and then posting a 5-0 shutout win in the second game. Bloomsburg fell behind 4-0 after 1 inning in the first game, but rallied for 6 runs in the second and never looked back. In Game 2, freshman Taylor Parker threw a 5-hit shutout, while Caitlin O'Connor had 4 RBIs to lead the win. Bloomsburg is back in action, weather permitting, Tuesday at Wilmington. The Bloomsburg men's and women's tennis teams also opened their spring seasons over the weekend, with the men and women both dropping contest at Mercyhurst on Saturday, and the men fell on Sunday versus Edinburgh. Next up is a spring break trip to play in Hilton Head, South Carolina, later this month.
That's all for this week with the Huskies. Be sure to join us again next week, and check us out on the web anytime at buhuskies.com. For Scott Eddy, I'm Tom McGuire. Thanks for tuning in.